I'm gonna say this. This is what I'm gonna say. I disagree with the your parents is trying narrative or they doing the best they can. And the reason that I disagree with that wholeheartedly, I've seen too many people who are parents that became parents just because they was doing the nasty.
Mm-hmm.
I would
Most
say that's
people,
most people.
Yeah.
right? So that's where I'm going.
Most
So
people.
most people. So the thing is, I'm a person that believe in redemption stories.
Yeah.
I believe in those. I believe that sometimes you get into a bad situation, you can make it better. But for most people, they compound situations. And these are
Yeah.
the things that when we talk about like spirituality, I think that's the conversation that I had with God a lot is about not compounding bad situations and making them worse.
Mhm.
And when I see people and how they move in life, they always seem to compound and compound and compound. That's why when I say compound, we'll see a woman, she'll have one child, have a messed up baby daddy. Then you see her a few years later, now she got 3 children, 3 messed up baby daddies.
Mm-hmm.
You didn't think your life was gonna get harder, adding more men and more children
It's a
to
cycle.
this,
Yeah.
and then
By,
decide
but
to
no,
date.
by no means was I saying
Hold on.
saying that should justify what you're doing. No, that
Okay.
don't make it right.
Okay, hold on. But another thing, and the reason I'm like this too is because I am a parent and I have 2 children. So when I look around and I see, like when we talk about just because you're doing your best. So just to be on the personal level, so like my baby boy was in NICU like 5 months, right? And he has a lot of issues that he has to work through. When I'm going to these doctor's appointments, when we're going to speech therapy, when we're going to OT, and nurses and the people that's involved with my child say parents aren't this attentive with their children.
Especially
Most
a
parents,
dad, a
most
black
parents
dad.
aren't attentive with their children. Every Thursday at 12 o'clock, I take my child to speech. Last week we went 2 times to go to speech to make sure he's doing good. Last Tuesday, I took him to make sure that his hearing was good because they thought he couldn't hear in one of his ears. Then he had to get tubes put in. So now we're doing a checkup on his tube. Like we are very involved in making sure that whatever he needs, he gonna get it. It ain't no, well, I'm doing the best I can. And that's why I say family. A lot of people don't even have families to start with to bring these children into
Correct,
these
yeah.
situations. And that's why I say we all agree most people have children because of just wanting to have sex. They too horny.
Right, right.
And so when you too horny, y'all keep compounding the situation and keep making these cycles. And now it's sad when hoe is life is a saying we have now. And then you have women talking about, I don't want to be a wife because he can still cheat and he can do what he gonna do. Well, the niggas you dating still doing the same shit. You ain't getting no different outcomes.
So why not do it on salary versus hourly? Get cheated on salary, baby, not
right?
hourly.
But let's talk about why that's important to us as men. If I decide to marry you, I think more highly of you than just a dock off. You feel what I'm saying? So I'm just having sex. I think differently of you. I think highly of you, especially to give you my last name, stay with you, have children with you, to do this. So a lot of women try to act like it's nothing, but we got real sayings. Hoe is life now. We got real people like a Sexy Red and your Glorilla half naked at a Steelers game, really in a bra and panty set.
Yeah, she disappointed me.
And this is what we're doing in our community and in our culture. And like I said, like people as men, and this is why I have such disdain for a lot of men, and they can't help because a lot of guys grew up with a single mother. So when we have these conversations, and I just posted, I said, just because she your mama, don't mean she want no hoe. And that's how we have a lot of these situations where a lot of these guys, well, you can't speak on that. You don't know what she went through. That's bullshit. Because as a man, ain't nobody gonna say, well, what you went through? Why you act like that? Because as soon as you act a certain type way, as soon as you act feminine, a bitch gonna call you, oh, nigga, you acting sassy. She ain't gonna say, oh, what you went through? Well, I was around a number of women when I grew up. My mannerisms is like a female because I sat around my mama, my auntie, my granny, and that's all I sat around. And there was no men around. So sometimes my mannerisms might be a little feminine. I'm not gay. But nobody sit there and ask you, well, what you went through as a man?
I want to talk to that about the parents. Like my dad, like straight shooter, very nonchalant, but he was like, I guess he kind of saw me getting attention from girls early. Like we moved in, started talking on the phone started ringing, and he made sure that he was like, and it's not to throw him on the but he be like, hey, you better get that. Like, as I'm older, he like, oh yeah, you got to get her because I'm showing him because I see this way he like. It's like he living vicariously through me because this his older life. You see what I'm saying? So shit, I'm that what you doing with that make me proud. The women, these type of chicks like that. So you start taking them things and you hear him like you get old, him like. I don't really need to be trying to smash on all these chicks like that. Like that really ain't the move to go with. Right. But some dudes, you looking for the approval of your father, whoever you feel you look up to. So you trying to get the approval, so you start doing things like if mama goddamn saying, hey, you get these niggas to trick on you and woo woo woo, she gonna get niggas to trick. Yeah, because mama is the motivator. You want to make mama proud because that's who you look up to. So a lot of times we get caught in them cycles trying to prove to the wrong people, even them, and some of them time the people be the mama and daddy. So like I don't really get no excuse to say you doing your best. You do your best before you have children. Not
that's
after.
That's how I believe. I believe we always talk about planting in fertile ground. We ain't doing none of that. It's like we trying to what they call them, the concrete roses, and that's what most people are. They in the street, concrete roses are coming through this fucked up situation and try to be this beautiful thing that nobody ever gets to see what they've been through or where you came from. And like I said, we do sometimes the question does need to be where your background and where you come from. But if I'm just looking face value, especially when kids involved, it's no excuse, especially like I said, when I'm doing this as a parent, being involved and understanding what it takes. When I'm on a Saturday, that's why one of the reasons why I wanted to switch my screaming desk, because we was doing this Friday and Saturday. It was two reasons. I didn't want to compete with football while I was going like, and I wanted to be at home more with my children. So being home more with my children, now I'm sitting at the kitchen table, flashcards. Hey, what does this say? Read this. Like this is important. Me and my son doing math problems. Like those are things that are very important because I talk a lot of shit about parenting. So I'm gonna make sure I do my part. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So that's how I look at it, because I see a lot of people with their children. It's like, oh, nah, my child can't hang out with them. My child can't go over their house.
Like now, I think I'm at the point in my life, in my womanhood, about realizing that both of my parents are humans. And so that's what I think too. When I say, they doing the best they can, that's what I was really trying to hit at. Like they're human as well. They were, like, for example, my mom at my age was married, had a husband, had a career, and I'm not married. I don't have kids. I don't have any of that. But just the taking them off that pedestal is something, and that shift happens. And so that's something that I've been like working through. Like, I don't even want to put my business out there, but just knowing that, they're human as well. And I think, because what we always told, honor and respect your parents. Like, no matter what, even though that's so hard to do, because, sometimes parents do disrespectful things. They do. But like,
do you believe that you should?
No.
Okay.
No.
Okay. I'm glad. And the reason I asked that question is because in our community, that's still your mama. That's still
that's making an excuse for it. No.
Yeah. So
that's enabling the behavior.
So do you feel like you should be able to check your parents?
Absolutely.
Yeah. It's times, yes. And it's a way to do it. You don't got to be disrespectful. It's a way to do it.
It doesn't matter how it's gonna come out.
It's gonna be
disrespectful anyway. If you
because a lot of times they're gonna think it's a spit in the face because
I raised you. I did this.
And like I said, as a parent, then you understand. Like I go to work and deal with bullshit to make sure to keep the lights on, to keep food on the table. You think of that too, but at the same time, it's like you have to have a open door for communication too about what, because I plan on asking my children, hey, what can I do better as a parent? Like I've never been asked that, but it's like
great breaking that cycle. Good job.
Yeah, so it's like I've never been asked that when I was a kid growing up, because there was things that could have been done better. Because I was raised in a house where whatever my daddy say go. It ain't no talking, no nothing. Hey, if I say it go. Even if you be like.
And so dealing with that now that I'm older and I'm learning to have my own voice and I'm grown and I can say things and I can. Get yourself in trouble. I'm like, no. I say this to my mama or whoever. Like, I'm now to the point where I'm had to learn how to have my voice to say things to my parents. Because we were taught, just shut up. Don't ask no questions.
Right.
Don't question me because I do this, like I do this and this, that for you. You don't need to question me. But I think as kids, we were just trying to communicate. Like we were just, yes, it was times where of course, we talking crazy or whatever. But now as you get older, learning how to do that, it's in a sense, I guess, like freeing in a sense, and it just makes me feel more like a woman that I could come to my mom, as a grown woman